Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Speaking Plain English. I am your host, Roberta, and today, guys, we have a absolutely wonderful guest that is here today. Before we bring our guest on, what I want to do is I want to have a couple of announcements. First of all, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting and speaking of all of that, I'm going to ask everyone who was watching to do your liking and your sharing and your subscribing if you haven't already. We are live we are here every Saturday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. noon. Eastern Standard Time. And if it's Eastern Standard, Pacific Standard Time, that is 9 a.m. What is going on with my speech today? And so I just wanted to first thank everyone who has been watching, all of our viewers who has been here thus far. I appreciate you so much. And I thank you for, riding out with me and rocking out with me and supporting, and doing all that you guys do. I really, really appreciate you all. I was just talking with our guest a little while ago, and it just dawned on me that next month, I have to get the exact date, but the next month in June will be, wait a minute, I said 2 years, but I think it's 3. It'll be 3 years. Oh my goodness, I believe, for Speaking Plain English. Wow. So, yep, we started June of 2020. And that's when it was just on Anchor, and it's still on Anchor. All of our episodes are now on Anchor. I think I put the last one on. So if you're one that just likes to listen instead of watching the video, or you're not able to, you can go on Spotify, you can go on Breaker, you can go on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcast, I believe, Amazon Music. You can go on all of those streams, all of those avenues, and you will be able to catch us and just listen to the podcast of the episode. So again, I want to thank everybody who has been riding with me and rocking with me. This has been a journey, and I really, really didn't think that it was something that I was going to be doing. However, God knows exactly what his plans are, just like Jeremiah says, and I'm very, very glad, and I've been blessed, and I'm sure that there have been others. Actually, I have gotten testimonies of others that have been blessed as well. So, announcement, other than that announcement I wanted to make, I wanted to thank everybody who has been joining from Praise FM, the Praise FM audience. We have I have not yet received whether or not that we have actually have the official nomination for the Stellar Award for Stellar for Internet of the Year. But I just want to thank everybody who took the time to actually do your voting and your your sharing for first rounds 1 and 2. So I thank you guys so very, very much. We are going to have a guest here. Her name is Dr. Shawn Denise Witt, and we're going to actually talk a little bit about the topic of ministry in the marketplace. And those of you who know me, y'all know that I love, to talk about, have topics and, things that we don't necessarily always, go into all the time. So what I want to actually discuss, what's things that we don't necessarily talk about, is how we can actually coexist. Ministry and the business world and entrepreneurship can coexist. And honestly, I want to even go as far as to say that I believe that when we that are call ourselves followers of Christ decide that we're going to follow, or God gives us a vision to do business, that's actually part of what we're supposed to do. We understanding that ministry, yes, it is, it's spiritual, but however, it is business. And also when those two coexist, I think that we should be able to pretty much have everything that we need in the church. And when I say in the church, I mean, like, good morning, Lady Rain. When I say in the church, I mean, like, I believe that we should have everything done in excellence. We should if we are so gung-ho with saying that we don't want to do things like the world, and such as, such and so forth. I think that we should have our own stuff. You know what I mean? I think that we should be able to, and not just have our own things, but have it in excellence. I personally believe that, being that God placed us in this world, he placed us in this world to do more than just church work. You know what I mean? He's placed us here, to be, business owners, to be entertainers. We should be everywhere per se. And not only that, but we should be representatives of him. We should be, and have everything done in excellence. And that's just where I am, and that's just how I feel, and that's what I believe. So I see that there has been, a lot of, and if you actually take the time to listen to and look at different, entrepreneurs, and look at their background stories, and artists, and authors, and people who are in the mainstream, who may not even, like, they don't necessarily always do like Christian films, or they don't necessarily do, you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense. However, their light still shines, because I believe that it doesn't necessarily always have to be, I don't want to say God centered. We don't necessarily have to be talking about Christ all the time, but I believe Christ should be represented in everything that we do. And sometimes that means that some of us are called to go into the mainstream and be a light for people. And that's just where I am on that. So without further ado, I've done enough talking. I am going to bring our guest on. Her name is Dr. Shawn Denise Witt, and we're going to bring her to the stage. Good morning. Oh, it's morning my time,
Good
your time.
morning.
Good afternoon here.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am not in a usual place. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you just
Okay,
fine.
good. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for your patience. I'm like multitasking and I am here. So I'm like I'm sitting outside, but I wanted to make sure you can hear me okay.
Oh, yes, yes. Listen, it's
Okay.
the life of an entrepreneur. So I get it.
Yeah,
We are always constantly on the move. So we make things work the way that they have to work. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So first, before we go into our topic, I would like for you to give us a little bit of introduction of who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Well, I am Dr. LaShawn, the global strategist. The global strategist is all things strategy. I have my hands in many different things, but I am strategizing and helping God's people. I'm a professional day educator in the day, and I own multi businesses, so many businesses. I'm trying to come up with a name of what a person who owns more than a couple of businesses should be called. So I am just excited about how God is using me to minister to his people in the different areas that I work in and serve in. And so I'm just grateful that he's using little old me to do the
Oh,
work.
awesome. And from what I understand, you are in California.
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles,
So it's early.
California.
It is very
Yes,
early.
it's 9:11 here. My day started at 4 a.m. I had a 5 a.m. nail appointment. So,
Woo!
yeah, it's early here.
They have those 5 a.m.
Well,
nail appointments?
well, they do. My people who serve on my glam squad do me at specific times because they know my schedule. So, yes, my nail person opens up to do my nails at 5 o'clock on Saturday mornings.
I love it. I love it. Listen, that's how we
Yes,
do. Get your
yes.
buddy however you can. Get it to get people
Right.
who believe in you to the point where they're able to work around it. I love it. I
Absolutely,
absolutely love
absolutely.
it. So we are embarking upon a conference that you are putting together. Is that
Yes,
correct? So give us a little
yes.
bit about that.
Well, it is conference number 6 for me. It is the Wonder Woman Conference. It's one of the largest events for people of faith and entrepreneurship. This year, we took a little different turn. We're focusing on women who are not just in ministry, but women who are business owners, potential business owners, or women who, are maybe recrafting, if you will. They were going
Mhm.
back into business, coming out of their profession. So, this conference is going to encompass speakers who operate prophetically and who operate in entrepreneurship. It's important for me to bring people in the platform who are doing what it is that people I'm attracting. Are can speak to them and encourage them. For someone like me, it's important to put on conferences, if you will, where people can come and get what they need. And these are
Mhm.
people who have helped me to get where I am today. So this conference is going to help it's the registrants, the attendees unlock practical insights and breakthrough strategy using education and networking. Education is my thing. So just because we're having a conference, it does not mean that we get to shout the whole time. We need to learn
There
something,
we
and we
go.
need
There we
to
go.
put these tools into practice so that we can go home and be better.
Yes, I love it. Listen, I love the fact that you mentioned that the purpose of having a conference, of getting together. Yes, you're gonna have church, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we learn something. We come out of there being better, and having something. Because the good thing about having these types of events is how we get to actually, because as entrepreneurs, we're always go go go, and there's so much that we are always outpouring, but it's good to be able to be poured
Absolutely.
into, sometimes, so that, and it's necessary.
Absolutely.
It's necessary. We can get lost. Oh my goodness, we can get lost in the day to day. So being able to come up with new strategies, and sometimes even those who may need some help and may not know where to go, and know have any strategy. I love your title, the global strategist, where you're able to kind of like tap into so many different avenues and so many different fields. That's from what it sounds like that you can assist with, assist people with. And
Absolutely.
I love
Yes,
it. I
diverse
absolutely love it.
roles and helping people to strategize to where they need to go next. I do weddings and events. I help people plan and execute wonderful events. Motivational speaker. I can come and serve as your mistress of ceremony. I'm working to
Yes.
provide administrative services to companies. So I do it all. So that is the title of the global strategist. A dear friend of mine, actually, he coined me with that name. So I took that name and I took it and I ran off with it.
I listen, you sound
Yes.
like, it sounds to me like what I call the Jane of all trades.
Yes, 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 yes. That's it. That's
A
it.
Jane of all trades. I love it. So let me ask you, so because you have so many things going on, how do you manage to kind of like strategize your time?
That is a very important question because I'm involved with so many different avenues. I also carry roles in some of the organizations I'm in. I think for me, one of the most important things is I pray about everything before I take it on.
I
Before I
love it.
decide that I want to be involved in this, or I want to do business with this person, or I want to launch this business, or I even want to run for a position in an organization, whatever it is, all of those different things, I embark upon prayer before I do that. That is the most important thing. And it's really learning how to be detailed oriented, scheduling out my day. This percentage of time goes here. I have to make sure I get this done. And so for me, it's about being organized. I can't do everything, Roberta. So there's certain things that I have to say, you know what, I can't do that anymore because I'm about giving myself 100%. So when I
Mm,
show up, I'm present, I'm involved, and it's just an allocation of time. But if you're praying about things, you're like, okay, God didn't tell me to do this, but God told me to do this.
mm.
And so I believe that God makes provision when we do what it is that He's called us to do and when we are doing the things that He wants us to do.
I love that. And what I love about it is that's the reason why I say that those of us that are in ministry, that's why our everything that we do should be in excellence, because at the end of the day, we should be going to God first to find out, okay, is this what you want me to
Yes.
do? Should I go there? Should I say yes to this, to this event or this gig or this opportunity? Should I embark upon, like
Right.
like Proverbs 3:6 says, in all thy ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your paths. So if we are
Absolutely.
going to, anything that we're going to do, anything that God has us do, I'll put it like that, is going to be in excellence, just because that's who he
That's right.
is.
That's right.
you know,
That's so
that's
important.
who he is. And it is
That's
important,
that's
because
it.
what we don't want is if we're going like as a we are always going, we're in the world, you know what I mean, and we have to do things,
Mhm.
and we have to
In excellence. We
go
should,
to
and if you actually take the
outside,
time to listen.
sources per se, outside
Yeah,
sources. But at the end of the day, if we're going to do something, we want people
right.
to come to us and feel the difference.
That's it. That's it.
We
It's
want people to,
important.
even in, especially like in, I'm big with music and in media and things like
Yeah,
that. And
that's
so
right.
I can appreciate where there are like even entertainers, you know what I
Right, right.
mean, and musicians where and artists that are able to, even if it's not a
Yeah,
gospel song, even if it's
that's
not a
true.
a
That's
churchy
true.
show, it has one, it's great quality.
The great qualities is
Two,
important.
it has it has the integrity. You can
Mm,
feel the difference, and that it's something that everybody can watch. It's
that's right.
something that that we don't have to be so ashamed, or to turn it off real quick, if a child enters, or I mean, it depending
That's
on,
true.
because there are certain things that we can discuss that are not,
Yeah.
that are not child friendly just yet, but it can still be done in integrity.
That's right. That's so important. It's
And I believe that
integrity is
is,
very important. Yeah.
absolutely.
As
And I
small
believe
business
that's
owners
you're
and people who are in the forefront of people where we're trying to, whether it's sell a product that can help them be better, or even just if you're in something that involves ministering, because
hmm
even as a wedding planner, I'm still serving, I'm still ministering. So I have to operate in integrity. That's important. And people don't understand that. It's not about the money, it's not about the talent, it's not about the resources. It's about operating in integrity and having a character that people can speak up well, long past in the years to come, that your character was always what it was. And that is so important.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, I love this conversation. When you are able to have a character of integrity and excellence, that at the end of the day, and plus, people who are people of God, people are drawn to us, and they'll
Yes.
feel the difference. You know what I
Yes.
mean? They'll
Yes.
know that there's something different about this person. And
Right.
that's even the whole
Right.
part about drawing God, drawing people to Christ. We listen, we're billboards. I'll put it like this: we are billboards for Christ
Billboards.
with
That's it. That's
everything
it.
that we do. And
Witnessing
so,
looks different in 2023. Witnessing is
oh my
different. It
goodness, it
wasn't
is.
about how we knock on doors on Saturday morning and preach. Witnessing is different, and it's not always going to be in the ministry, in the four walls of the church. And that's why this conference is so important, because God uses us in the marketplace. One of the things that I've been saying, when I walk into these rooms, when I'm working with diverse people that don't look like me, the God in me is going to help me sell and make that business. It's not going to be me speaking in tongues and falling out and all this other stuff. It's
Hello.
going to be, again, going back to character and integrity when I'm in those types of situations, because the God in me is going to help me to flourish in whatever it
That's
is that
it.
I'm doing.
That's
Yep.
it. And that brings me to the next question. Why do you think it is so important that we I want to say enter we mingle the two. We mix the two
Mhm.
of ministry and entrepreneurship. Why is that important to you?
I think whether even when you're in a professional day job, I work in a high school. I'm out of the classroom, but I work for a high school, and I'm one of the key leaders on my campus. Even though I'm working for a school district, there's still a level of excellence that I need to operate in when I'm doing God's work. I'm working with stakeholders of the school. Whether I'm an entrepreneur in the marketplace, I'm an educator, whatever it is, it's important that I learned how to govern myself outside the four walls of the church. Because again, it's the character. We're how we're flowing right now. These are the things that lead people to Christ. It's sometimes not bringing people to church and say, listen to this sermon. The pastor is preaching this old great sermon on Easter Sunday, and I'm joining the church and I'm going to get my life right. It is seeing me working in the school, having impact, mentoring children, and being there for them to guide them and give them what they need. See, all of those things help win people to Christ. So if we're operating in a level of integrity, if we're operating in a level of where we're doing things in excellence, because a lot of times people make excuses because we're in ministry, like, oh, we can run our businesses a little funky. Oh, God's going to do it. God's going to do this. No, God has given us the resources, the skills, and He's given us what we need to operate as if we weren't saved, to operate as if we weren't doing it for Him.
There
And
we
that
go.
is the mark that we miss between the two shields of being in ministry and marketplace.
Oh yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Absolutely. It's all,
Mhm.
again, all about integrity. It's
All
all
about
about
integrity. Yeah.
excellence.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're a
And
conference.
God didn't, and I was
Yes.
going to say this, and God did not purpose us to be designed how we are with the things that we need because we're supposed to be mediocre and we're not supposed to be of excellence. When you compare yourself to someone in the world that may not know God and that's not saved, why does that person have more than you? Why do you feel like this person has a better life and more
Mhm.
money? God designed all of us to get what He has, but it's a level of expectancy that God has when we're operating in His will.
That's it.
People don't think about that. And it took
Ooh,
me
I
a
love
lot of
it.
mistakes, Roberta, and I was doing a lot of stuff before I really got it. Yeah, I'm talented. I can do some things, but again, it's people are staring at me. People are watching me. People are seeing me. They're listening to these interviews. They're looking at these conferences. Let me see what she's all about. I have to walk what I'm preaching.
That's
And see,
big.
I used to hear that all the time, and I'm like, oh, whatever that means. But people are watching me, and
Oh,
people are
sure.
going to hold me accountable. So it's what you see in the public is what you're going to see, not so public. And that is one of
Absolutely.
the lessons that I really had to learn before God trusted me with this platform.
Yes. And one thing that I love that you said, that you mentioned, and that we have to get out of the habit of thinking just because we cannot be lazy. We just can't. You know what I
Yes.
mean? We have to put the work in, just like you said, as if we were not, if we were not saved. We still have to put in the same work. It's just the difference is that we have, like, we are actually listening to God's plan. Listen, Beyonce is putting in so much work, and that's why she's successful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
don't
at the
get me
same
started
time,
on that topic. That's one of my favorite topics to discuss. And see,
girl,
one of the reasons that Beyonce is successful is because people keep her name in their mouths and they continue to promote her. And what I tell people all the time, you don't know what folks do when they are not being paid attention to. I can never speak on people's relationships with God. I can never speak on what it is that they do when I don't see them. And the reason she continues to be successful is because we continue to keep her name in our mouths as controversy when we really don't know what her relationship is with God. That's a whole
absolutely,
nother live.
honey.
But I love these
Don't
kind of
start me there.
topics because I'd be like, y'all so worried about what Beyonce is doing. What are you doing?
Come
But
on.
you know, yeah, yeah, that's a whole, yeah. I love
No,
it. I love it.
honestly, because the thing is, I'll put it like this: at the end of the day, and if since we're talking about Beyonce, we know
Right.
where her roots are.
Yes,
She's
we
her
do.
roots. A lot of artists actually, their roots are in church, so they know they're grounded, and they do know, they know God. And
Yes.
regardless of what it is that they're doing, I'm gonna say that they still, some of them still, a lot of them still operate in the principles of God, in God's principles. One, two, I'm gonna say that you, like you just mentioned, you don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. You don't know what she may be struggling with. Matter of fact, a lot of things. There's that song that everybody is, doing the dance to, "Cuff It,"
Yeah.
and they have the little TikTok dance too.
Mhm.
I say pray for her. And the reason why I say that is because there's something that she slipped in there that people are not paying attention to, where she says, "I want to go missing. I need a prescription." That means there's no peace going on. Just
Yeah.
she needs some peace.
Yeah.
And everybody's
That's
just
so
dancing
important.
to it.
That's so important. I spoke about that a couple of months ago when I was having that dialogue. Um, we are our own worst enemies because we're so busy tearing each other down from what we see or what we hear. You know, one of the things that I tell people where I am at today and how I move and operate, I could never have saw myself 10 years ago. I used to
Mm,
cry and be sad when people would talk about me or tell a lie or say I did this or say I did that. It would pain me because I'm like, I really didn't do that. I really didn't say that. And now I was having lunch with someone just a couple of days ago, and she was mentioning, these are some of the things that I'm hearing about you. And I was sitting up there like, really? 10 years ago, that would have bothered me. And I would have been in a space where I'm just like, I just want to kill myself. I want to get out of here. It's not working. I don't want to be here anymore. And to be where I am now, when you're on a public platform, when you're in the public, and when you're charged with ministering to people, because even though she's singing secular music, she's still charged to minister to people. And how she
mm,
uses that platform is different than how I may lose my platform. But what we don't
mm.
do, when we don't listen, like you said, those lyrics, she has a certain level of peace in her mind that she's trying to get to. And because she's probably having to combat a lot of things that are going on, therefore, it's the way that she has to deal with things. And people don't
Abs-
understand our words can kill people, our words can tear people down. And that kind of shifted my mindset a while ago. Like, I got to be careful what I say about people because I don't
Absolutely.
know what they're struggling with. I don't know what they're dealing with. And God has given me a role to motivate, encourage, inspire, and champion people to do things, to live their purpose.
Mhm.
I'm given a role to help people take their vision and make multiple streams of income. God has given me the Wonder Woman conference to do those things. I can't be over here having gossip sessions about what Roberta did and what she didn't do and what she posted and who she's dating. That ain't even, that's not even where God has me right now.
Right.
So it's these kinds of lessons are like, oh, I see what you were doing a long time ago. God, I get it. I get it. But we have to really stop and reflect about the things that come out of our mouths
Come
and
on.
the things that go in our ears. I'm
Come
there.
on.
I'm shifting. I'm shifting.
I'm with you, girl. I'm with
I'm
you.
shifting.
So we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the Wonder Woman conference. Okay. So
Okay.
y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wanted to host your own inspirational radio show? Have you been called to inspire and spread God's word? Please contact Alicia Rain for more info.
Are you interested in continuing your education, certificate, or degree that will prepare you in the ministry and equip you in the marketplace? Come make Christ Central University your home. Visit us at www.myccu.online.
Your voice is heard. Oh, oh, oh. Let's get crazy. You say. Oh, oh, oh. Let's get crazy. You say. Oh, oh, oh. Let's get crazy. You say. Oh, oh, oh. Let's get crazy. Lift your voice. Oh, oh, oh. Let's get crazy. You say.
You are now listening to Speaking Plain English with your host Roberta on Praise FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching those. Welcome back. Again, if you are just tuning in, we are here on Speaking Plain English, and we are talking with Dr. Shawn Denise Witt, the global strategist. And listen, we just went left a little bit, but we're gonna try to help bring it back. We're gonna bring it right back because we're gonna have to talk about that, honestly and truly.
Yes.
It's a topic.
Yes.
It's a topic that needs to be discussed. But
Yes. There's a
we are
few
here
hot
to-
topics that need to be
Oh,
discussed.
honey.
I can come on
So
here and
many.
talk about some stuff that'll stir the pots up.
Woo! Okay, so I'm gonna
I
have
love it. I love it.
back.
Focus,
We're
focus.
gonna come
focus.
back. I'm trying to focus. So you have upcoming the Wonder Woman conference. Now tell me, why did you name it the Wonder Woman conference?
The Wonder Woman conference. So I have to be a little bit honest. I have a very close friend, the same friend who gave me the word or the term, the coined me the global strategist. I went to this friend and I was talking just kind of about my vision, and he came up actually with the Wonder Woman conference. It used to be called something totally different, and I went into a different direction. And it wasn't until I heard the word Wonder Woman, it was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have fun with this. So think about when you were a child. We used to have our little figures like Strawberry Shortcake and Superman and Hero and Spider-Man and Wonder Woman, all these different things. And so think about Wonder Woman. When we were a child, we saw her as a powerful leader and we saw her as a warrior. And if you were like me, you had like the little matching t-shirt and underwear, and you had the bedspread and the stuffed animals. You had all of that. So a woman of extraordinary powers is a superwoman. So God views us, because it tells us all throughout the Bible when he talks about characters that are women, because we don't really read the Bible. Some folks don't really get in that Bible and read, but God talks about a lot of godly women who were characters. They were strong warriors. They weren't sidekicks. They weren't afterthoughts. And God showed us in the Bible that women have emotional vulnerability that causes them to be stronger, that gives them the strength. So when we women stand firm in our God-given identities and our callings, instead of heeding to what others, like just what we were talking about, instead of heeding to what others have to say about us and giving us these artificial labels and saying who they think we are, we have what we need to change the world. So we're Wonder Women. So that is the reason why the conference is the Wonder Women, because I, again, am been charged to inspire, uplift, encourage, and push and move women, because I have been through those adversities, Roberta. I've been the one who's been raped. I've attempted suicide. I've gone through a bankruptcy. I've been through a serious situation with my mind and going through a lot of mental struggles. I've been through all of that. And so I can speak to women and say, I've been there. You don't have to stay here. I've had criminal charges before. I've had 9 felonies. I understand the system. I understand what it means to go through those adversities so that I can have a testimony. These things didn't happen for me to be quiet and hush hush about it. It was made for me to be able to say, hey, why don't we get yourself together? So what if you were in a terrible relationship? And these are some of the things we're going to be dealing with at the Wonder Women Conference, because women need that. They need to know, what is next for me? I'm an entrepreneur. I have this passion. How do I get there? I want to serve God. What do I need to do? We were just talking about it. Everybody's entrepreneurial gift isn't going to be served inside of the 4 walls in church, because if it is, you're never going to make it anywhere. God purposed us to be leaders in the marketplace. So the Wonder Woman is going to be building women holistically to help us with operating in integrity, just what we talked about. building women of wealth. I can't be wealthy and look like I'm not wealthy, right? So we're going to be talking about how to physically take care of ourselves, how to prepare ourselves to be kingdom purpose wives or better wives, to how to deal with the strategy, if you will, of operating in integrity, of operating our businesses based on our passion. So all of that is going to be enveloped in what I have called the Wonder Woman Conference.
I love it. So is this going to be, I need to know, is it going to be streamed live somewhere so that those who are not able to make it in the building, first
Well,
of
first
all,
of
let's
all,
get information
yes.
as far as where it will be, when, give us all that.
Yes, so it starts on Wednesday. In just a couple of days, all roads lead to Houston. It opens Wednesday evening with our first evening worship service, and then it goes all the way to Saturday. We're going to have day sessions, workshop sessions, panels. We're having a luncheon. We're having 5 worship services. So we're going to shout and we're going to learn. We're going to take notes. We're going to speak in tongues. We're doing all of that. So if you're near Houston or can get near Houston or can get to Houston, you want to register for the day sessions, wonderwomanconference.com. All of the sessions in the afternoon and the evening are open and free to the public, to both women and men. The conference will be streamed live, but they have to download my app, which is My Sister's Keeper dash TGS, which stands for the Global Strategist. So yes, we are working now to get the virtual component complete. So if they can't make it in person, they'll be able to stream with us and be there. But they better make sure they're there in 2024. So
I
yeah,
wish I could, if I had the time and the resource, I would get there, because this sounds like
absolutely.
it's going to be something so powerful and
Yes.
enlightening and educating, and you know what I mean? And that's what
Yes.
we need.
Yes.
That's absolutely,
Yes.
especially, I mean, I get that it's, that it's for men too, but it sounds like it's geared towards women.
Geared towards
And
women.
we
Absolutely. It
need
is a
that.
women's conference, but it's very important to have men. So I have 2 men who are prophets and they're entrepreneurs. They will be a part of this platform because women are not successful without the wisdom of a man. And people don't agree with
Mm,
that, but I'm going to be preaching about that. We need the wisdom of a man in order to operate the way that God has called us, because the Bible tells us in Genesis that we were taken from Adam. You have to really understand the story between Adam and Eve. It's not just we need a man because we need to get married, we need to have sex, we need to have kids, but we need the male wisdom in order to
come
operate
on.
in the way that God has called us. So it's very important that I have men as a part of my women's conference.
Oh my goodness, I love you. We just
I
met,
love
and
you
I
too.
love and everything that you're about. I promise, like we're gonna have to connect again, honestly. And
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to make
Absolutely.
myself available to get somewhere to where you are, or even see
Yes,
if I can get you
absolutely.
here for something. Because,
Absolutely.
honey, everything that you are everything that you're talking about. And the thing is, listen, I agree with you. We do definitely need the wisdom of men. We
Yeah.
like they're. I mean, listen, say I am one that is independent. I love, I pride
Hmm.
myself on being independent, but at the same time, I understand and I appreciate the role of a man. You know what I mean? And I believe, and I side with you when you say that we do need the wisdom of a man as well, especially as
Absolutely.
our covering, and especially as,
Absolutely.
the one who seeks God first. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
On our
That's very
behalf. So I love
important.
it. I
Absolutely.
absolutely love it.
Yes, it's
So,
important. So yes, we do have men, and our afternoon and evening sessions will be open to both women and men.
fellas, there's no excuse. There is
No,
no
there's
excuse.
no
There's something there
excuse
for y'all
to meet
too.
me in Houston, Texas. And we open the
Absolutely.
conference on Wednesday evening and we're going all the way to Saturday afternoon. So I'm just so excited about what God has in store for the people who will be there both virtually and in person.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I have to be able to catch some of it on now. One more
Yes.
time. Can you tell us the app that we have to download?
Yes, either you
I'm
can
gonna
go to
try to get that.
wonderwomanconference.com, which will take you to the link to download the app, or you can go to your Google, Android, Apple, all the different devices, and download My Sister's Keeper dash TGS, which stands for The Global Strategist. And you can keep up and follow me on all the social media platforms and also have access to the conference virtually as well.
I'm gonna put that right in this tier, the wonderwomanconference.com. And it
Yes.
may not come up as a link, but however, what I want you guys to do is to go over and get yourself registered, because this is not something that you're going to want to miss. I'm sure we're going to come out, like I said, enlightened, and we're going to come out
Yes.
empowered, and we're going to come out
Yes.
with some more knowledge. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
important that we
Yes.
have our ministry. and we
Yes,
have our education duly
absolutely.
together. Just like I
Together.
say,
It's
like
very important.
together. Just like I say,
Yes.
Jesus in therapy, and that's another.
Jesus in
That's another
therapy,
one.
education and ministry. You can't go wrong
I love
without it.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
I mean, I just want to thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
this time to
Thank
actually
you.
sit with us and discuss with us all that you're doing. I
Absolutely.
love what you're about. Let me just keep this
Thank you.
here for a little while. I
Thank you
love
so
what you're
much.
about. I love your
Thank you.
mission, and I love your
Thank you.
title, the global
I-
strategist. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna call you the Jane of all trades.
Yes, the
The
global
Jane of
strategist. And then there's a tagline to it, the woman who can make everything happen, or something like that he came up with. I can't remember. But I said, I'm taking this and I'm running with it. So I
yes.
love it.
You've got so many hats,
Yes.
and I mean,
Yes.
I just again,
Thank you.
I just want to
Yes.
just thank God for you and all that you're
Thank you.
doing. I thank God for how He is allowing you to have the time to do all of
Absolutely.
these things, and that how you're able to seek Him, and how
Yes.
that you're able to because there's a lot we need it. There's a lot that we need. There's a
Hmm.
lot that we need as women. There's a lot that we need as Christians.
Absolutely.
We'll put it like that, in order to
Yeah.
operate in this system, in the world, and do so in
Yes.
excellence and integrity. I'm going to keep that there,
Absolutely.
in excellence and
Yes.
integrity. So I want you to give us, first of all, I'm going to put here how everybody will be able to contact you if you want to keep up with her. You
Yes.
have, everything linked at the bottom. You can check if you want
Yes.
to, drop a little something, in her Cash App. Go
Oh,
forth and do
thank you.
that, because our viewers love the support.
Yes, all
But
Cash
before
App
we go,
donations go to the conference. So blessings to anyone who wants to sow into the Woman. I should have given you my ministry one, but if anybody that wants to sow into the Woman Wonder Conference, please know that you will be blessing so many women that'll be in attendance.
absolutely. Before we go, I would love for you to just give us a word of encouragement or something to leave with our viewers.
Absolutely. So let me just tell you, in Scripture, Deuteronomy 8:18 says, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." Know, ladies and gentlemen that may be watching this live, that God has positioned you to be a person of wealth. Now, when you think and hear the word wealth, it doesn't necessarily mean thousands of dollars in the bank. Wealth is building a portfolio of just the different things that God is leading to you, whether it's real estate, whether it's investments, whether it's stock, whatever it is. But also, God has called you to be wealthy in the kingdom, wealthy in ministry, wealthy in the marketplace. That means being a guarder of what we allow inside of our bodies, being physically healthy, being physically, mentally balanced, emotionally balanced. All of those things are so important, because we are in a season where God's people need to stand up. We are given a platform to minister to people, whether it's children, whether it's on our jobs as the post office person, whether it's working for UPS, whether it's a doctor, whatever field that you are in, God has given you a task to be His leader. That means to show people what it is to be God like, to love God's people. We are in a world where tomorrow somebody that you talk to may commit suicide 2 days from now. And what it'll be depend on what you may be able to say to that person. So be encouraged and allow God to use you. I've been on the other side, and let me tell you, this is a better side that God has given me. All of these kingdom connections that I would have never done unless I would have submitted and said yes to God. And so even though sometimes you think yes to God may not be attractive, let me tell you something. Saying yes to God is attractive, because you can still enjoy things of the world. It's just you operate differently. And if nothing else, your integrity is the only thing that will give you the life that you so deserve.
Oh,
That's
I
it.
love it. Thank you so
Yeah,
very much.
you're
Again,
so
thank you for
welcome.
everybody who has joined us
Thank you
today.
for having me.
Again, do your good liking and your subscribing and following
Yes,
and all of those wonderful things. So into her life, into her ministry.
thank
Make sure
you.
that you register for this conference that will be this week, up until this weekend, starting on Wednesday. And as we always say, until next time, guys, have a good
Thank you
afternoon.
so much. Good night, or good day, everybody.
Are you the next great independent artist? But you're looking for a distribution opportunity? Well, sign with us at Praise.fm Music Distribution. Yes, the 2021 Stellar Award nominated Praise.fm can handle it all. We understand the narrow road leading to getting your music heard at the right time at the right place can be tough. So send your music and video files to fmpraise@gmail.com. That's fmprayz@gmail.com. Praise.fm Music Distribution, affiliated with Sony Music and the Orchard Distributors.
my God, y'all to praise him right there.
I threw it in, but God, he threw it back at me.
He threw it right back at me, yes he did. I threw in the towel. I wanted to give up.
Ain't no way I'm gonna leave you now. Ain't no way I'm gonna let you down. I'm this far, I'm gonna get my crown. You're the reason why my mind is sound. Forget pain has come around and it's pounding at my door. Your voice is heard. Oh, oh, oh. Let's get crazy. You say.
You are now listening to Speaking Plain English with your host Roberta on Praise FM.